Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. I'm Evan and this is Magnolias and Sunlight, the video portion to my blog magnoliasandsunlight.com. It's a Thursday, so I'm uploading a video. So I came up with this list back in January. I just haven't shared it yet, and so I wanted to put that out there. Hopefully I achieve these goals. If I don't, I'm not going to really be upset about it. I'm not going to worry about it. Maybe by August, some of these things won't seem as interesting as they do right now. So let's dive in and I'm going to show you what I currently plan to read for the rest of the year. My first goal is to read 5 books off of the Rory Gilmore reading challenge. I love Gilmore Girls. I've watched the entire series like 3 or 4 times. And I love that she reads because there aren't a lot of really cool female characters out there that are bookish and enjoy reading and enjoy education. This character plus the books she reads are really interesting. So I have compiled a list one boring Saturday on Pinterest, and I will link it somewhere on the page or down below so you can follow along, of all the books in the Rory Gilmore reading challenge with direct links on where to buy them. So I'm going to go through and see which ones I've already read, and I'm going to go through and see which ones I already own because I know some of the classics that she reads are already over here on my shelf. So I'm going to try and read 5 of those books this year, and eventually maybe in my lifetime I'll be able to accomplish the entire list, but there's like 300 something books on that list. It's insane. So goal number 2, I want to read an Austen and a Bronte. So I've started collecting the Penguin initial books, I think is what they're called, drop cap books. So I have Jane Austen's This is Pride and Prejudice, which I have read, and this one is Charlotte Bronte's Jane Eyre, which I have never read Jane Eyre. I've read quite a few spin-offs. There was one that I read in high school called Jane, and it was a modernized version of Jane Eyre. I really liked it, so this is the Bronte that I plan to read, and I'm probably going to read Sense and Sensibility by Jane Austen this year because I already own a copy and it's really pretty, and since it's on my shelf, I should probably read it. So goal number 3, read 3 biographies about strong women. So when I say that, I just like reading biographies about really cool women in the fashion industry and the journalism industry and in history in general. So I have Diane von Furstenberg's book, which I got for Christmas a while ago. This was on my summer reading list and I didn't get to it. It's really not that long, and there's a lot of pictures in here scattered in between the book. So I really want to get to this year because Diane von Furstenberg is so cool. I'm also a huge fan of Barbara Walters, and I have her book Audition, a memoir. I went into journalism school because I loved Barbara Walters and Diane Sawyer and Robin Roberts and Laura Spencer, and so reading a book from Barbara Walters' perspective about her life and her journey and her career, I can't wait to see what's in here. I've owned this book forever, so this one is on the top of my list this year. The third book in that list that I want to read, I read quite a bit of this book, but I really want to finish it, is Jackie, Ethel, and Joan, Women of Camelot. This book follows the stories of the wives of the Kennedy brothers. I love Jackie O. She was a fashion icon, but you don't always hear a lot about Ethel and Joan because Jackie was the first lady and the other 2 weren't, but they have really interesting stories, and kind of seeing what the Kennedy men put these women through is just kind of insane and crazy. But it's written really well and there are great stories in here, and I've learned a lot from what I've read. I just haven't finished it. So finishing this book is on my list. Goal number 4, I want to read more historical fiction. I recently started The Bronze Horseman like 2 days ago. I'm on page like 100, so this is an 800-page book. I am not even close to getting this finished, but hopefully I'll have this finished in the next couple of weeks or so, just depending on how much time I have to read. I have a lot of other historical fiction on my shelf. I love history. I was a history minor in college, but sometimes I don't remember to pick up more historical fiction when there are so many other books out there. So I am really excited to try and make that a focal point in what I'm reading and what books I'm buying this year. So this one is a little more broad, but goal number 5 is to read more of what's on my shelf. So that was one of my New Year's goals, was to try and save more money this year, and I have realized that I do spend a lot of money on books, which I think, I could be spending money on a lot worse things, or I could, just like gamble it away. But I'm spending money on books, and I have a lot of books that I already own, so I'm going to try, and on all of this, and there's another bookshelf over here, read 5 books that I already have here that I haven't read. A lot of these have been read, to be totally honest. I don't just hoard books. I've read most of these, but there are a few in here that haven't even been cracked open, more than just to read the end pages. So I am ready to tackle this bookshelf. My next goal is more of a bookish goal than a reading goal, but I want to go visit local bookstores in all of the places that I visit. I have a lot of trips planned, and I just plan to try and buy some books at local bookstores and support local bookshops rather than ordering everything off of Amazon just because it's easy. So instead of spending a bunch of money on clothes and shoes, which I will probably still do, I always save up for trips before I go, I will also try and pick up like a little book from one of the local bookshops in the area that I'm visiting. So a very specific goal this year, I want to read Anna Karenina. I have never read it. I've read quite a bit of Russian fiction in my college classes and in high school, but Anna Karenina is one that I have not read. And I really don't want to have multiple copies of that book on my shelf, and the reason I haven't purchased it yet is because I really want the Penguin Classics linen cover edition. It's beautiful, and that's the one that I want to add to my bookshelf. So I am waiting until I want to splurge on that version, and then I'll read it. But it is kind of a monster to tackle. I'm kind of nervous about it, but I've heard that it's such a great story, and it's definitely a classic that I want to have read. So another kind of specific goal, I want to buy a book on financial responsibility. I am 23, I have a full-time job, I have a 401k, but that all is kind of fuzzy to me. So I know that just money sitting in the bank is kind of just stagnant. So I want to buy a book about, stocks and how to make investments, because I feel like there are a lot of people out there, including me, that really have no idea about that coming out of college. I pay my taxes and I pay all of my bills, and I have a savings account that I am very diligent about saving money, but like, what do you do after that? I want to buy a book that kind of helps me jumpstart my portfolio, because I think that'd be really cool to be able to say, like, yeah, I'm financially responsible and I do this and this and that, but I don't really know what this and this and that is yet. So hopefully I can buy a book and I can learn, and I will probably still run back to my parents and have them help me figure it all out, but at least I'm trying. I want to finish the Tana French Dublin Murder Squad series. I read the first two. There are 5 right now, and I think another one coming out this year. Definitely check that series out because I love it. A lot of people on BookTube have really enjoyed it. I've heard a lot about the first and the second. I haven't heard a lot about the third, fourth, and the fifth, but I will tell you because I'm going to read them this year. It might take me until December to get all the way through them because they are not super short books, but they're really good. I love them, so check those out. So my end goal for the year is to read at least 30 books. I know there are people out there on BookTube who are reading 70 books, over 100 books, but I just don't really have time to do that, and I wanted to make a goal that I could definitely meet. So with a full-time job, my exercise schedule, blogging, videoing, editing, reading is something that I make a priority, but I don't always have time for. So when I can read 20 pages of a book before bed, that means I am doing good, and that means that I am reading a little more than 2 books a month, which is a great goal for me. According to my Goodreads and my blog, I read 18 books between April and December last year. So I don't remember what I read January to March, but hopefully this year I can accomplish 30 books, and that means 30 book reviews on my blog for you guys to read. So I'm really excited about that goal, and I really think it's something that I can accomplish. So those are my 10 reading goals this year. Like I said, I know this video is kind of late, but it's still early in the year, and it's never too late to make a goal for yourself, especially if it's something about educating yourself or making yourself a better person, growing. And I am just really excited to read all of these books this year. Like I said, I'm an avid reader, so this isn't really that out of the ordinary for me. If you guys have any bookish goals, let me know what yours are down below. I would love to see what everyone else is reading this year. If you like reading and if you enjoy this video, please give it a thumbs up. I would really appreciate it. And don't forget to hit that red subscribe button down below. Maybe it's over there, maybe it's over there. I don't know because everything's backwards. I would love to have you guys follow along because I upload every Thursday, every Monday, and sometimes on Sunday. So I would love for you guys to get little notifications so you know when I upload. That would be awesome. Down below, all of my social medias, my Twitter and my Instagram and my Pinterest, and of course a link to my blog, magnoliasandsunlight.com. I upload there almost every day. So I would love for you guys to see what's going on over there too. I love you lots, and I will see you Monday. Bye.